We back. Act 2, the podcast, episode 5, right?
Yeah, 5. It's a big
Episode
deal.
5. So we back with episode 5. Just want to say thanks to everybody out there who subscribe, comment, like. We appreciate all that. We appreciate the just y'all chiming in, subscribing, and supporting. So thank you. What's your wow of the week?
You did. I don't get an introduction today.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Guest host, my wife Natasha, beautiful wife Natasha. I always forget that because she always around. So,
Well, else I'm
always
gonna
forget.
be.
My beautiful wife Natasha, guest host today on episode Nickel.
Cinco. Hi.
What's up?
Thanks for having me back again.
How you doing?
I'm good.
How was your day?
It was a day.
It was a day.
Yeah. I thought it was.
Telling me something.
Yeah, no, it was a day. It was just busy.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was later in the week than what it is. So it was just kind of like, it's only this day.
I thought it was Thursday too.
I did. When I woke up, I was about to say, "Oh, one more day," like, cause I knew you was really tired. So I was about to say, "Don't worry, just got one more day." And it was like, "Oh damn, don't say that, cause it's only Wednesday." So happy Hump Day. Even though when this is seen, it won't be Hump Day, but still, you know.
I had a hell of a day. I had 43 phone calls today. 47.
Before were me.
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
And I didn't even want anything. I just was you. I know you were having a hard week, so I was just
Excuse me.
check in and see how you were. So
I'm not a fucked up day, but just haven't answered the phone like that in a long time. And there's a lot going on at the
work.
site. Yeah.
Okay.
So what was your wow?
So my wow for the week, it actually was on Saturday. I had a chance to go out with some friends and their friends. And it was a good time, because of COVID, things, the world just being different, the world being shut down. It was just good I know we go out sporadically, but that's limited to it. We don't go out in the same way that we used to, just because we have to be careful. But even being out, it was kind of weird because, everybody had on masks. So, you're eating and taking it off and then putting it back on while, maybe waiting for your next food at the appetizer, and people talking. It's like, what? I can't hear you. Say that again, because people are talking through masks, and the world is just a different place. But it was good to be out and see friends because, we haven't really been able to participate in. Well, not that we haven't been able to. We choose to protect our health and our family by staying safe and kind of refraining from social activities like that. But it was good to be out. So that was my wow of the week. That was like a high, a high for me.
Cool. What was your wow?
My woe, also, I can't even say that it's really related to COVID because I may be making up an excuse. My woe was seeing the situation that happened in Montgomery County with that man. I don't know if they were a couple that were killed by the neighbor because of the snow.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things with social media.
We don't talk about social media, but go ahead.
I know, I understand that, but I'm just saying one of the things with social media is that it you're right, not just social media, cameras in general, but their videos are usually posted to social media because the news wouldn't show something so graphic. But that's one of the things, you get to see things that, 20 years ago, if something like that happened, we, the general public, wouldn't be able to see like the whole scene because the news wouldn't show that.
Too graphic.
Yeah, and it's weird because I think to myself, this is like kind of related but a little slightly different. I remember when I was in high school, real fast I'll say this, meeting white girls, and they, I guess, had never met anybody from North Philly. And I remember them saying like, "Oh my God, you're from North Philly? Like, have you ever seen anybody get killed?" I was like, hell no, I ain't never seen nobody get killed. And I think to myself, the first person I ever seen, not in person, but that I seen them actually get killed was Philando Castile when he was killed by the cop when he was in a car with his girlfriend and the cop. That was the first person in my life that I seen killed. Like I seen him shot and the life leave from him. And now these two people, you know, it so that was kind of like, damn. And the only reason why I say I don't want to blame it on COVID, because that man just might have been crazy just to be crazy. But COVID is having a psychological.
That ain't had shit to do with that dude. That dude was a psychopathic murderer. Like that ain't, you can't even tie the two together. It doesn't
That's
equate.
true.
There's no COVID
You're
that
right. You're right.
caused that. There's millions of people trapped in a goddamn house and they ain't
Everybody ain't
shoot
going out
nobody
killing
with handguns and then go get an AR-15 and come back out and do some more murdering.
Yeah, that was horrible. So that was kind of my like.
The
one
snow
of them
was
things,
just the straw that broke the camel's back for that dude. But
I just wish I didn't watch it.
he was born to murder.
Yeah, I just wish that I didn't watch it because it's like
He was going to murder regardless.
Can't watch certain things. You want to unsee them and you can't unsee them. So I wish that I didn't watch that. So that was kind of like, I mean, thank God nothing horrible happened in our life, but that was kind of like that was bad. Like I don't know, I didn't even see the story on the news, but you know I seen the video and just a bad situation. So I pray for their families. I don't know if I think they were a couple or family. I don't know if they were a couple or like brother and sister, mother and son. But
I don't know. I don't know if they was neighbors. I don't know. Yeah. Just been outside shoveling snow at the same time. I don't know.
I just pray for their families. Because
he when now don't get me wrong, when bullets is in your ass, they in your ass. But he kind of ran to take cover. Like he wasn't concerned about her. So that just kind of led me to believe that they wasn't related or he didn't. There wasn't a significant other.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just been two different neighbors, but the situation
he just was like,
horrible.
at that time, it's like self-preservation, like, let me save my life.
Yeah.
But, you know, if that was his spouse or something, then that's a different story.
Okay. I thought you was going to bring up the, okay, yeah. So what was your wow of the week?
Wow? I survived another week.
That's always a blessing too up top.
Yeah, I survived another week.
That's always a blessing.
Woke up every day. Obviously, I'm sitting here now, but I'm always first to say I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for breathing. I'm thankful for seeing, for having my abilities to do stuff. I'm thankful for that. So that's my wow of the week, is that God gave me another 7 days.
Thank you.
So I appreciate that. My woe was, I guess I could tie into, since we're talking about that video, that was some sad shit to see. Like, probably the saddest thing I've seen. It didn't have to do with children in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, just somebody blatantly come out and murder like that. I mean,
like execution style.
Yeah, like everybody murder, but that dude murder. Everybody has the potential to murder. You know what I'm saying?
I'm to say I ain't never murder, and you ain't never murdered, but I
like
got
everybody has the potential. Like when you get so mad, like, but that dude is he was you was living next to a psychopathic murderer, like a cold-blooded killer, to do that and be that mad.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. So I don't know what ticked it off. A word, a curse word, snow, whatever the fuck it was that. He woke up that morning, I wish these motherfuckers would today.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate.
And it was wrong, but, you know, that's just what it was. I wish these people would today. And that's all the way bad. That dude should be shot like he shot them people.
Well, he killed himself.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, he killed himself, so, you know, he...
Because he knew probably what it was hitting for.
Yeah.
Like, you knew you went way too far. Way too far. And to go in the house and get a machine gun and come out and shoot a female, like nobody, you know, like, I don't know, motherfuckers shooting women. That's just crazy.
Yeah, that's bad, yeah.
Shooting women, that's just crazy. I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, even if it was 2 men, it was horrible. But the fact that it was a woman added like a extra level of horribleness.
Yeah, like
it.
women and children are supposed to be safe from shit like that, and that dude was just off his rocker.
Yeah, that was
he definitely should have. He should not be here no more.
And he isn't.
People like that. What I wanted to talk. Oh, Malcolm and Eddie.
It's not called Malcolm and Eddie.
What is it?
The movie was Malcolm and
Oh,
Marie.
Malcolm and Marie. Okay, so we watched Malcolm and Marie, and it was dope as hell, right?
I thought so.
It was dope as hell. I really enjoyed it. I liked it. Um, but there was a lot of like.
So this was the thing. I seen a lot of.
Hold on.
Okay.
There was a lot of up and down, a lot of um cathartic situations, a lot of humbling situations. Um, Let me just say, I think that their communication was uncanny. I think the way that they listened to each other and allowed for thoughts and conversations to come out, and I know it's just a movie, but the way that was set up was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, what did you think about it?
I thought it was great. I thought, one of the things or some of the feedback that I heard from people was that, oh my God, they argued the whole movie. While yes, they did. I think where people missed the mark is you had to look beyond the fact that they were arguing and hear what they were saying. Like when people are arguing, they're using words, they're talking, they're communicating. And I think if you look beyond the fact that they were arguing and listen to what they said, it was kind of
Excuse me.
It was very introspective because you heard from a woman's point of view of how she felt taken for granted or not appreciated, and you heard from a man's point of view, not his reasoning for taking her for granted or not appreciating her, but how he interpreted the way that he was showing gratitude towards her. So I just thought it was it was really good insight. And I say it was introspective because when you hear some of the things they say, you had to think to yourself like, like is that something, I don't want to say am I being fulfilled in that way, because one, is that something that I want, and then if it is, then you ask yourself, are you being fulfilled in that way? And not, I know you always say stop always relating shows and movies and stuff to us.
Yeah, that's something I don't do.
But I mean, I guess for me it was just like kind of human
TV.
nature in here. Right, it is TV, but it was good. It's a movie, it's a script. I really like John David Washington. I thought it was so good to the point. It's been other things that he's been in, and his voice
it sounds just like
he said, but in that I was able to separate the two, which I think is an attribute to his acting skills.
I don't think he can help it. I think when his cadence goes up, he sounds like his father regardless. It's in his deepest voice. You can't shake it.
Right.
Now when he's talking like we're talking now, that's one thing. But when his cadence goes up, it's Denzel.
Right. But it's been some things that he's been in, and no matter, like in Ballers, it's like you hear it so much.
Yeah, Ricky's always
it's
like
in there. You sound like your dad. You sound like your dad. You sound like your dad. But in this, it got so good. I stopped thinking about Denzel. Right. It was just like, wow, he was great. And Zendaya,
I've always liked him though.
Yeah, me too. The Black Klansman was really good too. That he was.
I didn't watch all of that, but I really and he got a new movie out called
Tenet.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it's like some sci-fi type alternate universe, parallel universe type thing. Yeah, that's not our thing. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought, they argue. And so there's a word that I think is so overused, and that's toxic. Everybody wants to say everything and everybody. It kind of reminds me of when people started using the word haters. And I hated that word because everybody was a hater. I got haters. Like, and I feel like toxic is being used in the same way. And I just didn't think that it was toxic. I think their lack of communication, when they communicated, it was great. The fact that they had to get to that breaking point to break through, that was toxic within their relationship, that you had to get there in order to let this out. But once they let it out, the way they expressed themselves was good. I thought.
Which is crazy because all that passive aggressiveness to get to that point, like the what's wrong, why you not telling me what's like, all that kind of shit, when you can just be articulate, use your words, and say what you feel. And at first she wasn't giving him anything, and when she finally opened up and said how she felt, like it was just eye opening. Yeah, it was eye opening. I never ever compare our relationship
I'm
to movies, because you can do that shit all day, sit there and watch, you know, I don't know, what's a love movie? The Notebook or some shit.
I never saw
Me
that.
neither. I'm just saying, trying to think of a
Yeah,
love movie that
yeah.
everybody thinks is a love movie, and be like, damn, I don't have that. Or watch The Last Man or something, and be like, what the hell, right? I mean, what's that? What it's called?
The Best
The
Man.
Best Man.
Yeah.
And be like, I don't have that. I want that. Like, you can watch any movie and do that. You shouldn't compare your real life and your real emotions to some shit that people wrote on TV,
I agree one
because it's going
thousand
to turn
percent.
out the way they want it to turn
Right.
out. Your shit is real.
And I'm not saying comparing their relationship, but it was just some things that she said, some things that he said. Like when she expressed how I just wanted you to say my name. I just wanted to know that I matter. I just wanted to, you and wanting to be appreciated. And, not to like blow your head up, but it made me think to myself, like, damn, my baby, you do let me know that I'm appreciated. Like you. So again, it's not to say now on the other side, I can't imagine if I was a woman that was in a situation where it what things weren't good between me and my spouse, and I felt like she felt. Yeah, she's a made up character, but stories
No,
come
I
from
get it.
real
I
life,
get it.
so I can't imagine how that would have felt in reverse. Like I think that's why some people were saying they felt triggered by it, because maybe it was too close to some real life experiences. So for me, it wasn't like, let me like, are they like us, but it was just some things that she said. It was kind of like, you can't, for me, couldn't help to think like, damn, like, yeah, those are the things that you want as a woman. And I'm grateful that I have a spouse that fulfills those needs and those voids for me. Let me see, give me a gun show. Ow, ow. All right, I didn't say give everybody a gun show, just mine. But yeah, but that was, and you know what, it's a shame because, well, I can't say, we used to go to the movies, we would fall asleep anyway.
Right.
So I don't know if that's that's
Excuse
one
me.
of those movies that we probably would have went to see, but it would have kept us up. This was I was about to say too. At the beginning, she was saying she didn't want to talk because he didn't know how to like let things, like she knew that they would be up all night, and that's what ended up happening. Like
Mm-hmm.
but she was like, no, we'll talk tomorrow because you don't know
But that's the
how.
passive aggressive stuff I'm
Yeah.
talking about, though. Like, if you feel a certain way. Now, I got at the end, like after them going through all that, at the end, and it's like, um, after he said the worst shit about fucking Kiki and the heartbeat and all that stuff, like he didn't have to voice all that shit. Like that's just reaching in your hate bag and try in your hurt bag and trying to hurt somebody. But when she put it in the simplest terms of like, I just wanted to hear thank you, and then thank you for this, and thank you for that, and thank you for this, and thank you for that, and it's like all that shit makes sense, but okay, why didn't you just say that from the beginning?
Because
And
sometimes you
it's
don't
like,
want to have to say it. You want the
but
person to know. You want the person to know that not the person. You want your spouse to know that they should thank you. It's like you
obviously
don't want to have to say, I want you to thank me for this. You want that to be in their mind
I
that
know,
they're
I
going to thank you.
understand, but obviously you with somebody that's not wired that way, and he didn't thank you in the speech, so you know that. So why would you anticipate him knowing that what she told him at the end? It just made so much sense just to say that at the beginning, when I mean it wouldn't have been no movie, but he just was like, what's wrong? Like, okay, when she kept saying nothing and was making a macaroni and cheese, that's the passive aggressive stuff. But when they got to the grit of it, and she finally said, you didn't thank me in your speech, and it was like, okay, now we talking about what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck all the casting shit that came later. The initial thing was, you didn't thank me in your speech. And then at the end, when she said all that stuff, it was like, you could have just said that in the beginning. And I understand a woman wants their man to know that, but some women have to know, like, we're all grown. You have to know that, okay, maybe he just don't get it. You still love him. Maybe he just not wired that way. Maybe that's not his love language to do something like that. And it's something that doesn't come natural to him. He has to think about, or it was probably something he had to hear.
Okay,
So now that he heard it, okay, now I'm conscious of it and I can move accordingly.
I agree that she should have been more vocal in expressing her needs. But you know what happens when you love somebody? You give them the benefit of the doubt. And even though, based on the conversation, because again, it's a movie, but based on the conversation and her saying, because it wasn't just that, like she named various things. I wanted you to thank me for this and thank me for this, but that it would have all been summoned in just that one thank you.
Right.
In her mind, I guess she was thinking, yeah, he may not have thanked me through this process, but ain't no way in the world he gonna forget to thank me at this moment, because you give that person the benefit of the doubt where it kind of takes like, if I have to be like, when you go up there on stage, when you're giving your thank you speech, don't forget me, how authentic is it? And so again, I think that was part of it. She wanted to be remembered. She wanted to be remembered, and in that moment he forgot her.
I'm talking
That's
about
what
after
it was.
that though. So if I'm getting a construction award and I get up there and forget to thank you, and we get home and you being short with me and I say what's wrong, that should be the first thing out your mouth.
but then it's bringing back, I'm already hurt by the situation, and now it's like,
I understand you gave me the benefit of the doubt. I missed the mark. I came up short. But now that I see that it's bothering you or something is bothering you, and I'm trying to communicate and I say what's wrong, it shouldn't be passive aggressive.
Maybe she had to simmer down. She might have been too hot, and she had to simmer down, and it's a hurtful place. So it's like, damn, you cut me. Now it's like, okay, you want me to open this cut up and explain to you. So yeah, I understand, and she didn't say that she wasn't going to. She was trying to push for that conversation to happen the next day. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good movie.
It was.
It was a good movie. It was cathartic. It was really, I think it was well done. They tried these other movies where it's minimal minimal casting. 2, 3, 4 characters, and that's it, in one room, or one kind of setting where it's not a whole bunch going on. And they didn't all translate really well. The other one that was with Kerry Washington, I couldn't do it. I couldn't watch it. And I heard it was good. I just got tired of them being in that police station, or wherever they were. Yeah, I think in the police station. But
I don't even remember that. But
you didn't watch it.
I probably fell asleep on a Friday or something, and you was watching it.
Yeah.
But a question, and it has to pertain to that movie. Is it hard in general for women, Black women in particular, to convey their feelings in a relationship? First off, individually in a relationship, is that like a hard thing because of what you're saying? Like, I want to give the person I love the benefit of the doubt. Like, is it because it's hard for me to and I guess because you always say like I got tough love, but like it's hard for me to see somebody like just like, okay, I'm just getting hurt by this nothing ass girl or this nothing ass dude, and you're not doing nothing about it. Like, that's difficult for me to digest. So it's like you only have two options. Like, this nigga gonna keep dogging you, or you say something about it.
Well, I mean, that's very.
Or he not saying thank you, so say something about it. And it's like you sit back and, okay, I want you to say thank you, but okay, a week went past too. Now it's like all these emotions have built up inside you, and now it's worse than it was if you just would have said what was wrong with you.
So again, it goes back to sometimes you just want people to know. And I understand everybody's not going to know everything, and some things have to be taught, but you want to give people, you give people the benefit of the doubt, and just hoping that, okay, I'll use us as an example. I love flowers, and I can say,
I see you. I ain't been up here, but I see your flowers there. But I saw them today. I haven't been up here.
I was like, you make sure that I have flowers at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. But that hasn't always been you. Now, as a woman, you would think that that's just something that men know. Like, And not all women love flowers. I think the majority. I think even when women say they don't like flowers, if somebody brings you flowers, unless you're like some stone cold hearted
Cunt.
heifer, like
Cunt.
you might not like a garden or you might not have a green thumb, but who doesn't like getting a beautiful bouquet of flowers? Like
Cunts.
but whatever. So most women like to receive flowers. It may not be your favorite thing in the world, whilst with some women it may be their favorite thing in the world. So as a woman, because that's something that's just so common, you expect a man to know that. But that what like we talked about love languages. That wasn't your love language. Your love language is quality time. Like we could just be together all day, every day, like, and that fulfills you. So you had to learn that, and not that it wasn't like, oh, I just.
You make me sound like I'm needy. Like it's because we're
I
friends.
said quality time, not
No, but
like
you said we could be together all day, every day, and it's fine. Like
I wasn't.
it just can't. It
I
just
wasn't
implied like I was needy. It's
No.
just because you're my best friend.
And that's fine.
Okay.
Like I'm not
All
saying
right.
you like need me to
Okay,
survive,
all right,
even though
move
you
on.
do.
All right.
But you went left with that. But that's your love language, quality time. You and again, not that flower like giving a woman flowers is so cliche. It's almost like you expect a man to know that, but you had to learn that about me. Like, okay, she enjoys this. This makes her feel good. And once you learn that, but I could have just been bitter, like he never brings me flowers. But never expressed that to you. You
But
know,
that's what I'm saying. That's where the passive aggressive comes in. And at what point, when you said you keep saying, I want him to want to give me flowers, at what point do you realize that he might not want to, or he not thinking the same way as you? So let me communicate this to him. That's what I'm saying. Like you want him to do that. Okay, this Friday come past, I ain't got no flowers. Next Friday come past, I ain't got no flowers. You still wanting him to do that, but clearly he doesn't see that.
So it has to be, I think.
Well, actually, it's two things. Clearly, he doesn't want to do that, or clearly, he doesn't see that.
So I think it's a two-way street. There has to be a mutual love, mutual respect for each other, where you care enough about what y'all have that you want to express that to him so you can stop being upset. And he has to care enough about what you want to fulfill that need so that you can stop being upset. And I think sometimes, like when people talk about self-love, that's a part of self-love, speaking up for yourself. And that's really that's a part of self-love, telling people what you want, what your expectations are, whether it's at your job or whether it's in a relationship.
Well, why is that so hard for women? Or I'm asking, is it hard? It seems like it's hard for women. Why is that so difficult?
You know what I think? I can only assume because
it's love blinding.
I think women or people are scared of disappointment. If I tell him this is what I want and he doesn't rise to the occasion, then I'll be disappointed. So then women lower their standards.
But why does it have to be a negative thought first? Like maybe if I tell him what I want, he might actually do it.
Maybe they've been disappointed by others in their life, so their expectations for people
it's just low.
It's just low. Maybe they haven't had anyone to fulfill their expectations. They haven't had anyone come along and say, oh, this is your standard. This is what you want. I'm going to meet it or exceed it. So their expectation is low. Maybe they haven't, been around somebody who they see like, oh, this is a possibility. You got women out here that really think that men just ain't shit, ain't gonna be shit, ain't never gonna be nothing, ain't no good men in the world because of their exposure and the expectations that has been set for them. Once you expose this, I don't even know if it's, I think it's a rap song or something. I don't know what it says.
Don't quote it because you might butcher it.
Yeah, but like once somebody exposes you to something real, then or somebody expose you to something true, then until you've been exposed to that, you're gonna. So when you say are black women afraid to express their feelings?
Well, just women in general, but we black, so we talking to the black audience out there.
Right, but we welcome all audiences.
Yes, we do.
We do.
We welcome all people.
But I can only speak from a black woman's perspective because I am a black woman, and you gonna get all this black girl magic today.
That was a good segue.
But I think for people in general, we are living in a society where showing emotions you know, it's kind of people want to put on this hard shell, this hard exterior, you know, they want to be independent boss bitches and this, that, and the other. Like, so people really don't learn how to express their feelings. They don't learn how to be vocal and saying what
You
they
have to
want.
express your feelings to be independent, to be a boss bitch. You gotta, you know,
But we're
be have
talking,
you gotta be vocal for that. So it's not like you can be a hermit and be a
but I'm
boss
talking
bitch.
about in a relationship. Like, people don't know how to do that. You got a lot of women that want to act like the men. Like, and I, again, it's something, it also comes with age. I will say that it's something that you have to learn to, it comes with growth and maturity, unless you're one of those people who are blessed that maybe you were raised that way. Maybe you saw your mom handle her business, she ain't take no crap from nobody, she stood up for herself, so that was, you know, embedded in you as you grew up, which is awesome if you come up with that. But then you have some women who, you know, you've seen your parents, or as a woman, you've seen your mother endure some things and tolerate some things and didn't speak up for herself. So you know that you should, and I'll speak for myself. Like, I always knew, like, nah, it's certain stuff that I'm not gonna accept. But it took time for me to really be able to express myself, you know. And then you got that angry black woman stigma that comes along with it too, where you really have to learn how, okay, not to just speak up for yourself and express yourself, but also do it in a manner of love, because you love the person that you're talking to, and you want it to be you want them to be receptive to what you're saying. You don't, no matter what you're saying, it's in a lot of cases about how you say it and not what you say it. So I think it's a lot of different factors that can play into it, but it definitely comes with growth, mature, and not just age, growth and maturity, because you can get there at 27, you can unfortunately not get there until 47, but it comes with growth and age,
You don't
and
think
having a partner.
exposure?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and having a partner that lets you feel comfortable with, because that a woman can be hurt badly if she, you know, you have a woman that loves somebody and she wants to open up and he is negative towards her or shuts her down, or, you know, a man can, a relationship can harm a person, you know, emotionally. It can be scarring, and it can break them down. Like, you can know a woman, like, damn, she was strong, she was handling her business, she got with him and he broke her down. So having that exposure to a mate, or being with a mate that allows you to grow together, you know, that's helpful also. Exposure to another woman is good too, because, you know, you kind of see that example of, you know, how to handle your business and how to go about things. But people in relationships do things differently, so I'm never an advocate of like trying to mimic or
Emulate somebody
emulate
else.
another relationship. You can definitely learn from other women. You definitely can learn from other women, and I'm a big believer in that. um you know, but you shouldn't try to emulate somebody else, because your man, you might meet a man that ain't like her man, and your man might be right for you and her man might be right for her, but you can't act in the same way she acted in her relationship, because they might just be completely different. So that's that.
Was that hard for you to do? Like, we've been together since you was 19. Was that hard for you to do when you was that young? Speak up for yourself.
I won't say it was.
Like, you always had a fucking mouth on you, so I don't understand. Like, I'm thinking back as you're talking now, and I'm thinking, like, did she ever? Did I ever feel like she was afraid to speak up for herself? And I'm like, no. Like,
I wasn't
at
ever.
19,
Mm-hmm.
like, we used to have issues, like, not like you speak up too much, but again, your delivery ain't right. Like, if you want me to be receptive to this, your delivery ain't right.
Yeah, I never, and again, it was coming from a situation where I saw my mom take crap. Where, you know, unfortunately, I think in situations like that, when you grow up as a young woman and you see your mother in an abusive relationship, whether it's physically, emotionally, financially abusive, you either emulate that because that's all you know, or you completely rebel against it. So in my mind, I knew it was certain things I was not accepting.
Abuse,
Yeah, like you, yeah,
drugs.
you couldn't hit me, you ain't gonna be getting high. Like, I mean, you smoke, but you know what I mean. You, that's about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's about it. Yeah, don't put your hands on me. You know, we had like, we, you know, in the beginning we would get into arguments or something. If you got too close to me, I'm like, not that, you 19 inches taller than me, but it was just that mentality of, nah, like, no, like, that's the standard. You can't put your hands on me. But I wasn't afraid to speak up for myself. I think I just had to learn how to allow my message to be received with love. And again, and not expecting you to know things. Like, again, you weren't always a flower buyer, and I had to, let it be known that those are the things that I like. When people talk about love languages and, oh, I feel like everybody enjoys all of the love languages. There are, but everybody has a primary
I
love
disagree,
language.
though. I disagree.
Okay.
Yes, some people might not like to be around their spouse a lot.
That's
Some
bad.
not like not necessarily because everybody do stuff different. So maybe if that's what works for them, like
Okay.
some people might be married and in a great relationship for 20 years, but they have jobs that keep them in different places and they're not around each other. So
Aw.
you know what I mean? Like it's or that's not one of their love languages and it's not something they enjoy doing, sitting around watching movies, going to stores, going out to dinner. Like maybe they don't enjoy that.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Maybe some people don't like that. Like we know some people that don't like to be touched. So it's like some people, not saying I don't like to be touched sexually, but I don't like to be touched randomly all the time.
That's
Like
what
I
I
don't like
mean.
that kind of affection.
That's what I
So some
mean.
people feel like that. Not necessarily us. We're not talking about us, but
No. But what I'm saying is, I think in some capacity, large or small, all of the love languages are required. So even if quality time ain't your first, second, or maybe it's your fifth, so maybe you only need a date once a month.
but
But I
if it's
think,
your fifth and it's five, that means it's your least liked. So you
but
don't really like it.
it doesn't mean you don't really like it if it's number five. You just like it least than you like the other things. Like, I like this one a lot. 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 And then I
Which
like
means
this
I'm
one.
happy to do this. I'm excited to do this. I'm happy to do this. I want to do this.
No, or it could just mean you have less of a need for that, but it doesn't mean you don't enjoy it. So let's put it
Okay.
that way. It may be less of a need, like, for me, it's words of affirmation. Like, I need to hear you tell me that you love me. I need to.
You need attaboys.
Atta girls.
Girls, but you know what I mean.
But it's that gratitude and being appreciated. So where was I going? Why was we talking about love? Oh, okay. So I think that's part of that growing too, and learning how to express your feelings and express your needs. And one, you have to be able to identify with yourself. What do I want? What do I need? Because you could be a woman and be like, he don't never buy me flowers. Oh, that's what we was talking about. Gifts.
You can just talk in your regular voice. You don't have to do like a busted
But I was
baby
talking
voice.
like a busted baby, like, he don't buy me flowers and stuff. But no, but then he starts buying you flowers, and that doesn't feel anything within you because you were just asking for flowers because you thought that was the thing to do. So I think that's a part of that growth and maturity and being able to identify, what do I really need in a relationship, not just from him. If I was with anybody, what is it that fulfills me? What makes me feel good? What do I need? Do I need an atta girl? Do I need those words of affirmation? Is it, what I just need for him to dedicate his time and devotion to me? Do I need him to buy me gifts? And I'm not just talking about pocketbooks and shoes, but flowers, or bringing home a card, just showing a token of appreciation that he thought about me. So I think that's where it comes into play. No, I was never afraid to voice my opinion. I was always very vocal. I remember your biggest complaint. You used to always be like, your mouth is too smart. Like, you used to always tell me that my mouth was crazy. But I think that was just part of that growth and maturity and learning how to vocalize my needs and wants. But first, I had to learn for myself. So, I think for a lot of women, again, you have to be in a situation where you feel comfortable and your partner is welcoming to your growth, especially when you've been in a long-term relationship. Like, I am not the woman that I was at 19. I'm not the woman I was at 25, at 35. So you have to have a partner that's open to your growth, because hopefully they're growing too. And y'all growth will, hopefully grow together at some points, but it may crisscross at some points. And it just has to be, like when you talk about like bacteria in a petri dish, like the
What?
like the
What the
environment,
fuck are you talking
the
about?
environment has to be conducive to growth.
Yeah, but it's
I don't know why I just thought about a petri dish. That was
it's
like,
podcast, not fucking science lab.
but that just went to like my biology days. Like I just thought about a petri dish. Like it has
Jesus
to be
fucking
conducive
Christ.
to the environment in order to grow. That's all.
So it's got to be what, the M word?
What's the M word? I don't know the M word. You want to whisper it to me?
No, I don't want to say it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know
wanna
the M
say
word.
it.
Okay.
All right, so it wasn't hard for you to. We know that wasn't hard for you to voice your opinion.
As a man, can I ask you?
Mhm.
As a man, is it difficult for you to express your feelings? It's always taboo for a man to, be emotional. The whole men don't cry and all that kind of stuff. So how difficult was it for you to express your feelings?
In the beginning, it was very hard because I wasn't articulate, or I didn't have the. I had the words, I just couldn't compartmentalize my anger from my communication. So in the beginning, it was super hard. I thought that, you know, I could, like the birds, I could fluff up my feathers and act intimidating,
Doing little
and
things.
and then, yeah, and then it's like, okay, that's over with. But that just only, like, come to find out, like, that kind of shit only makes stuff lingers and resurface again. So for me, early, it was super difficult to um, express my feelings. But I'm not a I'm not against, like, yeah, I'm emotional. My feelings get hurt. Like, fuck that. Like, that don't make me no less of a man just because my feelings got hurt. And I'm a big believer in, if I love something, if I'm passionate about something, my spouse, like, I'm gonna fight for that. I'm gonna fight for my feelings. I'm gonna fight for for my days to be loving and right, and the way I need them to be. Like, I'm not gonna sit back and let stuff get stale, because that's just what people do. So now, as I got older, and you're right, it does come with age. As I got older, I felt different. I took things in different. I had a different perspective on things, um, especially like with us. Like, again, we was building this life, and then you look up and all these years go by, and I don't know what it is, but one day you do look up, and either two things gonna happen. You're gonna look at this girl and be like, God damn, I fucking hate her. I fucking can't stand her. I wish she'd fall down the steps. Or you're gonna be like, fuck, I love her. Like, holy shit, I love her. Like, I need to see her every day. I need to take care of her. I need to make sure she eat. I need to make sure she happy. I need to make sure she eat a lunch. Like, I need to do all those things because I love her. So you start to get a different perspective, and in internalizing that, you find the words to be like, okay, I'm gonna settle in, and this is what I'm gonna do. So expressing my feelings became easier because I knew exactly what I wanted. Mm-hmm. It wasn't scrambled no more. Like, it was like easy to be like, okay, this is what I want, and this is how I want to move. Like, you become yourself. Like, you have standards, I have standards, and this is who I am every day. This is how I move. So it's easier to say what you want and what you want to do when you know exactly who you are. So yeah, in the beginning, it was super, super hard. Like, we used to argue for an hour and wouldn't shit be fixed. Yeah. Not a goddamn thing, but you just argue, and it's like, you gotta, like, communicate and talk that through, find your words to say what you want, because that's true. It's a lot of people out there that are passive aggressive and don't want to say what they want. They want to give people the benefit of the doubt, whether it be male or female. But the bottom line is, and I believe in that, like, say what you want. Find the words to say what you want, because the person just might actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
And all that other extra shit you don't have to go through. Now, if you cross that bridge and you say exactly what you want, no gray area, you ask me how I feel or what's wrong, this is what's wrong, and if you address it and fix it, we good. Now that I told you what's wrong and you still move fucked up and you don't move accordingly, we got a problem. That's how it should be handled. And then all that inside stuff is unnecessary.
And I think it's important too because, and that's a part of growing and being mature. You can't have assumptions about what, yeah, you tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes people just really might not know.
Mm-hmm.
People were raised different, their experiences in life have been
stupid.
Different. Their prior relationship may have had a different level of expectation, and they just really may not know. So I think, like you said, you have to speak up and say, you know what, when this is going on or when this is happening, like whatever it is, like I want you to show gratitude towards me. Yeah, from an elementary standpoint, you think, why wouldn't this person know? But then
you only know what you know.
But not only that, in reverse, the other person might think like, of course you know I'm grateful for you. Like I didn't. So you have to be vocal in expressing your needs and not assume that the other person knows. I think people cheat themselves. I think people cheat themselves from a different level of intimacy when they don't share their emotions with their partner.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Because you cheat yourself of, you form a connection and a bond on a different level when you allow yourself to just be open and vulnerable to that person, whether it's about them or not. You know what I mean? Because we've shared things when emotions, whether it's things about us where I've been sad or upset about something, or if it had nothing to do with us but it's still my emotions and I need you in that moment, and it just creates a completely different bond to see that person be there for you. And you may not think about it in that moment, but later on it just connects you in different ways when you allow yourself to be open and be vulnerable. I always remember, like, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, like, when you were going through your situation, when we were going through your situation, this was early, like 2003, and stuff had went down. We don't even to this day really know what went down, but we knew, like how we talked about last episode, and I always forget how it was the saying, like, don't have nothing you can't leave in 30 seconds flat.
And we
was out. And nobody knew the life that we were living. Like literally, we left from our apartment, went all the way to somewhere else. But every day we was going back to, you was dropping me off at the apartment for me to get dressed for work. I was going to work, having a normal day, nobody having no idea what was going on. Then when I would get home, you would pick me up and we would drive all the way back to that hotel. And I always remember, and that was early in our relationship, but I remember like you laying there one night and you just cried to me and you was like, I'm scared. And not the fact like, oh my God, he crying, but that was just kind of like, you know how like when you're playing a video game, it's like you unlock level 1.
I'm a fucking game.
Yeah, no, but
I'm a game.
No, but it was like
it is levels to this shit though.
Yes, that was good. But it was like you unlocked a certain level that was like, it made me feel like, you gotta step up, like you gotta be there for him. He's trusting you with his feelings in this moment and is so vulnerable in letting you know how he feels. Like here he is, a black man who is telling you, crying in your arms, he's scared. Like black men, that's just something that's so taboo. But I remember just thinking like, all right, you gotta be there for him. Like if this what you gonna do, you gonna be his ride or die, literally. Like you gotta step up and you gotta be there because he's trusting you. And that was, I always tell you, like that was the first time where it was like, I always knew you loved me, but that was the first time where it was like he really loved me. Like Like he really loves me where he's asking me without asking me to really be there for him in this moment, and I can't let him down.
It's the first time that you probably would be. I probably felt in love with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably one of the first times that I felt. Wow, you're taking me back a little bit, but yeah, that's one of the first times that I felt in love with you.
Yeah, and that might have been 2002, or it might have been
And again,
2003.
that
I don't
goes
remember.
back to what I was saying about getting older and just knowing, like, again, just looking up one day and being like, and it helped that we were friends.
Yeah.
Like, we, before all the lovey dovey, you know, all that stuff. Like, we just did everything together. We had conversations and shit like that. Like, I hadn't been with anybody that I felt like I could talk to. I don't know what you probably was with some sucker ass niggas, but
I was. I wasn't
that you
even with
probably couldn't
anybody
talk
before
to.
you. What are you talking about?
So, but anyway, it was like one of them times, like what I'm saying, when you get older, you just become more vulnerable, and that's where a place where I was just like, that's how I felt at that moment. Like, I hope I can be vulnerable with her because this is how I feel, and I have to let this emotion out.
Now, on the other end, let me go back to saying this, where you said, why do Black women struggle with sharing their emotions? I think in circumstances like that is where damage can be done, because you have to have some level of discernment in life, like in life in general, who you share certain stuff with, especially sharing your deepest, darkest feelings about just anything, because I'm sharing this with you because I need you. I want you to be there for me. And I'm asking you without verbally asking you. Like, I'm leaning on you for support, whether it's just to listen, whether it's to hug me, whether it's to wipe my tears. And in that moment, somebody can be so damaged if they don't get what they expect.
Mm-hmm.
So I
It's
think,
like asking somebody for a favor.
yeah,
You need them to say yeah.
and I think that's why some people, become closed, and they don't share their emotions because of the disappointment that they've experienced from other people. And it may come from a child. That could be childhood trauma. Like, you were hurt as a child, and nobody listened to you.
Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. So I think that's where that sharing your emotions, like, there are certain things, like, looking at it on a different level outside, because when you talk about emotions, it can be anything. I won't talk about fertility issues with certain, like, I really don't talk about that with anybody, because I feel like you got a half a chance to say the wrong thing, and I'm done. Like, I just, so I don't want to give anybody room to say anything. When it comes to, like, sexual abuse situations, I don't really have those conversations with too many people too, because again, you, like, that whole, you can't, I don't believe in no victim blaming. Whatever the situation is, we know people lie in some situations, but I'm just saying, it's certain things about my life outside of just us being in a relationship, but it's certain things that people, and things like that too, can traumatize people from sharing emotions in life in general. So then when they get into a relationship, yeah, it's a different type of emotion, because you're talking about love and companionship, but it's still sharing your emotions, sharing when you're hurt. The little girl who was molested, and she told, her family, and nobody believed her, and they shut her down, and they didn't do anything about it. How is she now supposed to trust this man with telling him her feelings are hurt about something, because the expectation that has been set for her is that her feelings aren't going to be respected, or that nobody's going to act on her being hurt. So that's like, that can be so so deep into why people don't feel comfortable. But I think it kind of all boils down to the same thing. Depends on your experience. Have you been disappointed in life when you shared your emotions with people, or have you experienced people respecting and valuing and taking action to make sure that you're comfortable in your feelings? Now, that's not to say just because you feel one way, everybody's supposed to, because you could just be like, okay, I hear you, I understand, I respect your feelings, I don't agree, or I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. But still valuing your opinion.
I still heard you out.
Yeah, I heard
I'm
you.
I'm just not going to move that way.
Yeah, I can't do that. Now, I won't do anything, whatever it is. Like, sorry, I'm whatever. But it's still that valuing of opinion. So we know childhood trauma, that's a whole different ball of rocks. Is that a such thing, a ball of rocks? I just made
No.
that up, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
No, I don't. It's not a ball of fucking rocks. You always do that with sayings.
What is it? It's like a whole different I don't know. It's a whole different conversation, but
okay, that works. But ball of rocks,
but
doesn't.
it's like a whole different ball of ball of nails or something.
No,
it's a saying that somebody say. But you know, it's childhood trauma can lead into, you know, young adulthood trauma, can lead into old adulthood trauma, where you have some men and women, because it's not just women. You have some people who grow old who have never learned to express their feelings and emotions because their feelings have never been respected. Men have been taught, you know, you hold that in. Nobody has ever made a man feel comfortable enough to, you know, unzip that hard suit, take off that exterior shell, and speak and be yourself, and, you know, say how you feel.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with saying how the fuck you feel. Like I don't see another way in my life experiences as a black man. I don't see another way of getting what I want other than saying what I want.
Right.
And not and being a alpha male, not being passive aggressive. Like that shit doesn't and maybe it was the schools I went to, the neighborhood I grew up in, you know, a little bit of time in jail, but you don't like that passive aggressive shit, you just don't. That's and not like it's always a negative connotation on that. I know that's some people's personality. Like if you're not alpha male, you can be passive aggressive, but some people say it's female tendencies. Like that's how women are. That's why I asked you the question. Like, is that a part of y'all? Like that innate thing for you? Like when you say give somebody the benefit of the doubt, is that couching being passive aggressive?
No, well, see, I don't even think it's a matter of being passive aggressive.
Is that just y'all natural emotion not to be aggressive until you have to be, until you're boxed in?
So
then your emotions.
See, and you gotta toe a fine line, because you can be assertive without being aggressive. Like you can express your feelings and demand respect and say how you feel and demand that someone meets your standards and expectations without being aggressive. Because then I think the aggression should only come out when somebody is trying to harm you. You know, there's no need to be, especially in a loving relationship. You can be assertive and speak for yourself. I think the being passive aggressive is not so much. I'm sorry. I think the giving the benefit of the doubt is not so much passive aggression. I think it's more so self-preservation, self-preservation, where you don't want to get your feelings hurt. So you're giving this person the benefit of the doubt to think like, he know, like he know, he love me, he know. And it's hope. You know, you hope that they know. And sometimes it's warranted, because in the scheme of things, like, okay, if it had some big award ceremony and you were getting an award, I'm never in a million years would think to myself, babe, when you get up there to say your thank you speech, you better not forget to say thank you. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, he know. Now, if you get up there and you just legitimately forget, my feelings would be hurt. But I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, like he know, like I don't have to remind him, like he knows that.
Right, you didn't. But let's say I got up there and you seen I'm sweating and so fucking nervous. I ain't never got no goddamn award, and I'm fumbling over my words and I'm trying to get off, and I forgot. And I'm generally like, holy fucking shit, babe, I'm so fucking sorry.
You better run your ass back up on stage when you come down after the next person gets. You better do like Kanye did when he went up there.
Like, why can't you just be like, okay, you know what? I did see you fumbling. I did see that. Yeah, my feelings is hurt, but I'm not gonna hold it against you like there's an inkling of you that did that shit on purpose.
No, I wouldn't think you did. And then, okay, just going back to the movie, like,
or it's I don't mean that much to you. Like I'm going way too negative, where it could just be You fucking forgot, you dumbass. Like, you forgot.
Now, I guess going back to the movie, she said like he named a list of people. Then that would be different. Like if you about to go up here, Rashim and Udi and
But you know,
Ebony and Gary and
you always thank God first, and you always thank your wife last. And before I get out of here, I couldn't do this without one person holding it down, and that's my wife. So you always thank your wife last. So you could just forget. Rule. Yeah, you thank God first, and then you thank all the people that helped you, and then at the end, before I get out of here, I
don't agree with that, because what if the music start playing when they cut people off, and now my thank you is cut short because
of the music at the construction awards.
But yeah, I mean it again. It's I think in those situations you give someone the benefit of the doubt because you just hope that they know. You hope that they know, like you hope that they know to show up for you in that way.
If I was getting an award, I would thank God first, and I would thank you second.
I wouldn't even doubt that. Like you can't forget.
I wouldn't be able to wait to say your name.
Yeah, you wouldn't forget me. I'm not worried about that at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to wait to be like Tasha over there.
Yeah, like ow. No, what would we do? Like hootie hoo.
Cootie coo.
Oh, that's our little call. Our cootie. Oh, we can't tell people that. Oh, all right. I'm sorry.
No.
Cootie coo. You gotta do it back.
No.
We already said it now.
No.
All right, so now we gotta change up the secret code. Sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know that was a secret.
You threw my head all the way off of that. I don't even know where I was going in the conversation. What was he talking about?
We were just talking about, we were kind of circling back to why women, it's hard for them to share to voice their needs and emotions, right? Because of child. It can come from different reasons, but usually it's from being disappointed and not being allowed, not feeling comfortable to do so. And
but you know what? After hearing the explanation, it's the same thing for men. Men are scared because of childhood trauma, because no dad, because your mom always told you shut the fuck up, or you just was a quiet, scared kid. So men have the same things going on inside them when it comes to being scared to share their emotions, whether they're just really scared or they don't want people to think a certain way about them, or you just, that's how we were taught when we were young. You don't cry, you don't do shit. But when you get older, like, fuck that. You realize not crying makes you feel like shit. Like, not saying what you want or always being on 10 and fucking aggressive and hollering makes you feel like shit. It really does. So you got to get to a point in your life where you just, like, you surrender to that shit. Like, man, I feel like this, and this is how I feel, and I'm trying to get right. I ain't trying to can't get right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get right.
You hold it all in and going back to our woe moment of the week and not making any excuses for that man. But you'll end up blowing up. It could be something small and you end up blowing up because you didn't help. You know how hard it is to hold in a cry when you're really sad?
It's super fucking hard.
Yeah, and it literally, it hurts your body.
Yeah,
like, you're holding that in. Like, so getting those emotions out.
I cry at movies. You know that. I cry that sad shit about women, kids. Like, it don't take and I didn't used to be that way.
If he sees a woman crying, he will cry.
Yeah, like, I just don't, I don't like it. A while ago, a long time ago, I seen this dude beating the shit out of this girl against a phone booth. And I was young, and I didn't do anything. I think I rolled the window down and said, yo, you shouldn't be doing that. And he was like, get the fuck out of here. And it was like, I don't even know if this dude got a gun on him or anything like that. Let me keep it moving. But he was beating the shit out this girl. And, like, I'll never forget that. Like, she was fucking helpless. Like, she was fucking helpless. And yeah, I'll never forget that. But if I see a woman crying or hurt or upset or, a dude being aggressive, now I definitely would say something. I definitely would intervene in a situation like that. But fuck, like, she's scared. She fucking shaking. You definitely can beat her. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right, so, right. Why are you choosing violence?
Yeah, like, that's just intimidation tactic. Like, again, when I used to say, like, okay, let me fluff up my feathers. So let me get all big chested and all up in her face. And then when she start getting scared, like, you start to feed on that shit. Like, that's some sucker MC shit. That's some sucker MC shit.
I think all women, all people should be empowered to express their feelings. I used to say, I don't like shy people. And I realized it's not that I don't like shy people, it's the passive aggressiveness.
I don't. I cringe at it.
Yeah, like I cringe when I see other people not speaking up for themselves.
I cringe at it. And I work with all men and a few women in construction, but I cringe at it. And I don't know whether it's because I'm being not patient with people and it's on me, or it's just because I'm an alpha male and I don't like when other men be passive aggressive. It's like, it makes me like, yo, what the, even if I don't know them, it's like, what the fuck, why are you being like that? Like, you know what I mean? Obviously something's wrong. Say what the fuck's on your mind. Like, we all men here. So I cringe when I see other men passive aggressive.
It makes me,
and I don't want to put a negative connotation on that, because that's just some people's personality. They're not rah up in your face or the first person to say something's wrong with me, but to be that kind of quality in a man is, yeah, I can't be friends with you.
It makes me cringe when I see other women being that way, because it's like you said before, if you don't speak up for yourself, who, and I don't want to be like, the people's advocate, especially when you're talking about grown people, like, excuse me, she didn't like when you said, like, no, like, we're grown. If you don't speak up for yourself, then how do you expect to, or how do you go home with, you ever like have an argument or a discussion with somebody, and, you be like, damn, I forgot to tell him this. Like, how do you go home with all that on your chest, knowing you ain't say nothing? You didn't let any parts out about how you feel or how that made you feel or why you didn't like that. And sometimes, it may take you a moment to take a step back and get your words together, because especially if it's a situation when you love somebody, you want it to come across with love, but still letting them know, I didn't like when you did this, or I didn't like when you said this. But you can't just let people, I think that's why relationships become tainted, because it starts to break down. If you constantly did stuff to me that I didn't like and I never spoke on it, and I just took it in and took it in and took it in, eventually, like, I'm not liking you because you're hurting me, but I'm never even saying anything to you about it. So it starts to break down a relationship until one, you look up and you like, I don't even like this person because they hurt me, and this other person looking like, hurt her how? She ain't never tell me I hurt her. So it's communication. Like, I can't, we know that has been an area where we struggle, and we're not 100% where we need to be, but we have grown exponentially in that area and just learning how to communicate. And the last thing I'm gonna say about the movie, one of the things that you said was, they don't know how to fight. What was that?
Nothing. You don't say anything. I lead into that. That was part.
Oh, I'm sorry. You did. Well, I didn't know that's what you was going to say.
Yeah. So, but go ahead. But a big part of the movie we was talking about was couples they didn't know how to fight. Like, him coming in the bathroom and leaning down in the tub and saying all that shit he said to her was like wow.
And it was so poignant. But
it was like, damn, like how, like that's something, like, our communication hasn't been 100% over our 20 years. It's getting better, but we always knew how to fight.
Yeah.
We always knew how to fight. And I don't know whether a certain level of love or a certain level of respect has something to do with that, but we've never been in arguments and I've called you out your name or anything like that. And we've argued, 1,000 times in 20 years. It's like we've had some arguments, some small ones and some big ones, but you don't say shit to your person that you love that you can't come back from. Like, people say words don't hurt. Like, words hurt like a motherfucker. You shouldn't be calling your man a pussy if that's the dude who you love and you want to protect you and feel secure with. How you gonna call him a pussy? Now that's how you see him. You can't be calling your woman a bitch. Like, that's how you gonna see her. Like, that's stuff that over years that shit pile up, and sorry don't fix that no more.
That was one of the things that I always kept in mind is don't, and this sounds childish, but I mean, yeah, I will apologize if there's something that I've done, to offend you or whatever. But when it comes to words, don't say something that you're gonna have to say sorry for. Like, because it's some things, no matter how
You
you
can't
what you
say
say, so you
sorry for.
can't. And I remember, and this comes along with, when we talk about setting standards and setting expectations. I remember this was like 2002. I don't know why I can always place the year of things, but we were arguing or something, and you said "fuck you," and it was
Like I
like
stabbed your mom in the heart.
yes, and I let you know, like, don't ever say that to me, like, just I don't like that. Don't say to me. That's so dismissive. That's so, yeah, I don't like that. And you've never said that to me again. Like, so that's what I mean when we talk about setting standards, setting expectations, letting people know how you feel. And if the person loves you and values you and respects you, they will step up to that standard.
Yeah.
Like, for if you were to be like, nah, get out of here, I'm gonna say fuck you when I want. Like, what does that say about how you feel about me? If I'm at, like, is it that serious that you need to be that disrespectful to me that you don't care about my feelings? So that's, as a woman, and I'm speaking to only women, it's extremely important for you, and I'm sure all the people who are watching, that you do speak up for yourselves. But to spread that message to women, to young girls especially, you got to learn to speak up for yourself. You are your biggest advocate. You can have a mom, a sister, a best friend, an aunt, whomever, a mentor, but you are your biggest advocate. Can't anyone speak up for you like you can speak up for yourself? Can't anyone say what you want for yourself better than you can? Because maybe you don't always know how to articulate the words and get it out, but find a way. you know find a way. You are your biggest advocate, and speaking up for yourselves, it can save yourself. It can save you from depression, from heartache, from bad relationships, from bad love, from being used and abused, emotionally abused. You got to speak up for yourself.
All the men too. So if she's speaking to the ladies, I'm speaking to the young men too. Like, speak up for your fucking self. I don't have as many words as she did, but speak up for yourself. It don't be afraid to express yourself, your emotions. You are who you are, man, and you should like who you are. So if you feel a certain way and you gotta um, communicate that to your spouse, then don't hold that shit in. Just, yo, this is how I feel. This is how I need you to treat me. If you need to cry about something, go sit in a room. If you're embarrassed to cry in front of somebody, but cry. Watch how better you feel after that shit. It's nothing wrong with that, bro. It don't make you less of a man if you cry or if you express yourself. So yeah, express yourself and for fight for you, for the way you need to be and your feelings and your insides and your heart. Fight for your shit, just like they do. Fight for your shit because it all balances out. It shouldn't just be lopsided. It shouldn't just be one way. It all balances out. I gotta do shit for her. She gotta do shit for me. There's certain things I can't say to her. There's certain shit she can't say to me because it's no coming back from. And we've been able to do that over 20 years. So we know it works. You just got to have a standard. You just got to know how and be in feet first and committed.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good conversation.
It was.
Yeah.
We ain't got no ending segment this time.
You didn't have it in this. Okay, well, I have something special for you.
What?
All right, give me 1 second. So,
Is it a water?
it's not a water, but it is a beverage. So we talked about this being. No, what are you doing?
What?
We talked about this being episode 5. So I got us some glasses so we can toast to episode 5. I'm proud of you. I know this is something that you really love. You're passionate about. This is a vision that you had. And I told you, I was down for you, down to do whatever to help you, see this come to fruition. Whether we got 5 viewers or 55 viewers or 155 viewers, you got me forever. So
I appreciate
I
it,
just
baby.
wanted to toast to episode 5. And one of the things I wanted to say when I went out on Saturday, one of my girlfriends, Tia, been my friend, since we were
Mm-hmm.
younger, she told me, she's like, I have to tell you, watch the show and I love it. And I thought it was so funny because she was like, so it's not scripted? I was like, absolutely not. So the only thing and it's not even scripted, the only thing that we know that's coming, or that I know what's coming, is the wow and whoa moment. And that's not even scripted. Like, we don't talk about it until you ask me here. But I just thought that was funny or cute that she said that, because it made me feel like, wow, like, is maybe our flow is good in that way that it sounds like it's scripted, but nothing is scripted. We don't even talk about what he's gonna ask or what he's gonna talk about until we sit at the table. So just wanted to say that nothing is scripted. The last show that we did, Who Are We? Because we knew we were doing part 2. It was like, okay, my mind, but still, we don't know what direction the conversation is ever gonna go into. So,
But we know who we are, so we talking about us.
right, but I mean, it wasn't scripted because there's so many layers to it. It could have went in a bunch of different directions. So, nothing is scripted. But thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my husband. I love him more than anybody else in the world loves him. But thank you for loving his. You may not love him, but thank you for liking the show. Don't forget to comment, if you're watching on YouTube, or even if you go to his Instagram page at Act2_the podcast. Leave him a comment, DM him. I check the DMs too, so don't be cute. But DM him, leave him a comment, double tap. Just show him support. It makes me happy to see people supporting him. I'm his biggest #1 fan, but I'm allowing everybody else to be his #2 fan. So thank you for all of your support, and I'm proud of you, and I love you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate all your help. I always let you know thank you. I appreciate you, and I love you to death. And I'm glad that you're here. Thank everybody for the support. Comment, share, subscribe. It's never about the viewers. It's just having decent conversation with my best friend and the person that I love the most on this planet. So, that's all it's about. But thank everybody. We made it to 5 episodes. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep getting better. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. My mouth was so
I was
fucking
so
dry.
thirsty.
My mouth was so dry.
Tissue.
Usually out of water.